What occurs when a prosperous country permits many thousands to be ignored, abandoned to struggle for life on the pavement? In Los Angeles, Skid Row has evolved into a chilling emblem of this disaster, where displacement isn't merely common, it's surging.
Well, Skid Row is it's a trap. Even though they have resources to help you, but it's a trap because it's a lot of the world going on out here, as in drugs and prostitution and partying. And if you get caught up in that stuff, it can ruin your life. And I came down here and unfortunately I got involved in it. And it took me to destruction.
Formerly a vibrant neighborhood, it's currently a site where folks who previously held residences are coerced to reside in shelters, huts, and on walkways. How has a district formerly brimming with potential transformed into a mark of gloom? What is required to reverse the trend and revive optimism for this overlooked section of the town? Remain with us as we reveal the profound roots of this emergency and investigate the vital steps required to create progress. The fact of displacement in Skid Row. Skid Row, situated in central Los Angeles, has turned into a hallmark of the rising housing emergency within the United States.
A place you would never want to experience if you're a homeless person. Los Angeles is the #1 city for homeless. They call it Skid Row, and it's not a nice place to be.
Based on the recent 2024 Los Angeles homeless census, roughly 3,191 persons are enduring displacement in Skid Row, with nearly 212 of those staying outdoors, resting in canopies, temporary huts, or merely on the walkways. This zone has traditionally been recognized as the heart of destitution in Los Angeles, where the density of unhoused residents greatly surpasses that of alternative districts in the metro. But why did we permit this? Why did a wealthy town like Los Angeles, with such vast assets, let a community of this magnitude slip through the gaps? The truth of displacement in Skid Row extends beyond a shortage of residences. For several, it's a perpetual fight with indigence, psychiatric disorders, chemical dependency, and bodily wellness problems.
I didn't know how to find them. I've been in Skid Row for 8 years, and I've been out here looking for them since then. I was trying to get in drug programs and straighten my life out and get things right. But I couldn't, I failed. And so they took them away from me.
The unhoused demographic is varied with people from every background, but the seniors are particularly at risk. Various older citizens find themselves on the pavement because of rising lease costs, crushing clinic debts, or private tragedies. Once they forfeit their residences, fleeing the pavement becomes almost unattainable. With restricted entry to clinic psychiatric aid and lasting housing, these persons encounter a steep battle for endurance. A neighborhood project seeks to draw awareness to these truths, providing a thorough perspective on the hurdles met by the displaced residents in Skid Row. It reveals the hardships of folks who have resided for decades without steady housing, giving a sound to those who are frequently ignored. Through these projects, the magnitude of the emergency becomes irrefutable. The condition is critical, and the requirement for durable fixes that tackle both instant and structural origins is more vital than ever. This continuing emergency is not only a Skid Row matter, it mirrors a bigger trend of displacement that reaches across the country. With millions of citizens residing without steady housing, Skid Row's hardships are a stinging prompt of the wider issue of homeless in America. The disaster of dependency, fentanyl and meth. Narcotics represent a central catalyst for displacement in Skid Row, with substances such as fentanyl and methamphetamine, driving a loop of hopelessness that plenty cannot flee. The influence of these chemicals on people surviving on the pavement is immense, sustaining their fragility and making it even tougher to emerge from the brutal conditions they encounter nightly. Fentanyl, a potent opioid, has emerged as one of the most ruinous factors in Skid Row. For those already battling psychiatric trauma wounds or economic volatility, fentanyl offers a momentary exit, permitting persons to dull their agony for a short period. Yet this passing comfort arrives at a catastrophic price. The drug's intense habit-forming traits rapidly grab hold, snaring users in a chain of reliance that intensifies their displacement. The more they depend on fentanyl, the less prone they are to pursue or obtain the assistance they require. Many find themselves failing to preserve any shred of consistency as their existences become swallowed by the quest for the following dose. Methamphetamine also performs a major part in stoking the dependency disaster in Skid Row. Much like fentanyl, meth provides a transient feeling of comfort, frequently granting users a surge of vigor and a sense of flight from the bleak truth of residing on the streets. However, the results are brief, and once they vanish, individuals are left feeling even more secluded and hopeless. Meth users in Skid Row become progressively alienated from the society surrounding them, making it tough for them to interact with programs or assistance networks that might bring healing. The pairing of fentanyl and meth has worsened the displacement disaster in Skid Row. These narcotics not only drive dependency, but also detach persons from their neighbors, building hurdles to wellness and sustaining the loop of displacement. With every drifting day, their craving for these chemicals hardens, making it even tougher to flee the pavement. The consequence is a ruinous descent where dependency fuels displacement and displacement makes dependency harder to conquer. This persisting disaster in Skid Row underscores the dire requirement for holistic answers that tackle both the narcotic plague and the displacement disaster concurrently. Without confronting the fundamental origins of dependency, attempts to finish displacement in spots like Skid Row will persist to prove insufficient. What are the root causes of the Skid Row crisis? This film reveals the fundamental origins of Skid Row's displacement disaster, a catastrophe sparked by institutional breakdowns reaching much further than dependency alone. These factors are firmly embedded in the societal, fiscal, and governmental frameworks defining Los Angeles and the country. Initially, the low-cost housing shortage is a leading offender. From the 1980s, Los Angeles property industry has boomed with upscale residences appearing quickly. Still, merely 5% of fresh building efforts between 2015 and 2024 were reserved for poor citizens, making cheap choices rare. Lease rates have jumped. Average rent in LA climbed 30% between 2010 and 2024, squeezing seniors on static earnings and low-salary staff. For several, one monetary blow, such as a $5,000 clinic invoice, signifies removal and a direct path to Skid Row's pavement. Next, climbing survival expenses worsen the situation. Food, medicine, and transit in LA have turned unreachable for plenty. For aging inhabitants frequently subsisting on small benefits or low-yield employment, an unplanned cost, an autofix or clinic visit can slide into displacement. In 2023, 40% of Skid Row's unhoused mentioned losing shelter from these fiscal jolts, a figure this film stresses to emphasize the weakness of fiscal balance. Third, psychiatric disorders worsened by a fractured aid network snare, many in Skid Row. Above 30% of the zone's unhoused battle with intense mental wellness problems, yet LA's deprived psychiatric programs, slashed by 25% since 2008, provide scant assistance. Lacking therapy, these people cannot obtain work or shelter, continuing their ordeal. Lastly, the crumbling of the nation's welfare system has left millions at risk. Since the Reagan years, national grants for social housing dropped by 70%, and city efforts like lease aid have shrunk. Structural injustices also exert influence. Black citizens, 40% of LA's residents, comprise 60% of Skid Row's unhoused, showing imbalances in shelter and labor entry. This film reveals how legal lapses and money-focused growth have made Skid Row a final refuge for those that homeless in America impacts. The influence of displacement on the town. Skid Row's displacement disaster vibrates past its limits, taxing Los Angeles clinics' communal security and fiscal vigor. This rising problem probes the town's ability to assist every inhabitant, necessitating a confrontation with its wider repercussions. The medical network is under assault. Various unhoused people fighting lasting ailments, psychiatric problems, or dependency crowd urgent rooms. In 2023, Alaxu SC Medical Center stated 35% of ER stays originated from unhoused sufferers, with lingering times reaching past 12 hours. Fentanyl poisonings alone cause 20% of these instances, blocking centers and stalling treatment for every Angelino. Burdened employees toil to manage, damaging the town's general medical excellence. Communal security encounters rising hurdles. Though most unhoused persons are peaceful, Skid Row's vast colonies stoke worry among local neighbors and firms. Police records show a 15% jump in minor larceny and communal unrest in bordering zones from 2020 to 2024, frequently linked to neglected psychiatric illness or hopelessness. Deputies spread thin balance empathy, with policing shifting assets from alternative districts. Financially, the disaster takes a steep price. A family-run shop on 6th Street stated a 25% fall in patrons since 2020 as travelers avoid Skid Row's canopy-filled roads. The town's 2024 finances earmarked $1.3 billion for refugee sweeps and aid, draining cash from schooling and public works. This sharp difference, ragged canopies against downtown shiny skyscrapers, reveals LA's profound imbalance. Internationally, Los Angeles' reputation as a radiant spot fades. Guests to local artistic centers like the Arts District face Skid Row's bleak truth, dissuading repeat visits. A 2023 report observed a 10% dip in downtown business funding tied to views of volatility. How can a town famous for ambitions let such gloom endure? What is needed to mobilize Angelinos to respond? These inquiries force us to view Skid Row's disaster as a mutual lapse, prompting shared effort to revive the town's potential. Strategies being executed. Reacting to the displacement emergency, especially in Skid Row, various remedies are presently being put into effect. These endeavors concentrate not merely on offering instant aid, but also on tackling the deep-seated origins of displacement, striving for lasting, viable transformation. One of the most notable programs is the Skid Row Action Plan created by the City of Los Angeles to offer thorough assistance to the unhoused community. This strategy involves moves to boost low-cost housing supply, broaden entry to clinics and psychiatric aid, and provide tracks focusing on labor coaching and narcotic healing. The objective is to offer more than just passing refugees. It seeks to provide durable fixes that confront the intricate institutional elements fueling displacement in the zone. Another vital method is the Housing First framework, which has been applied in different regions of Los Angeles, including Skid Row. The theory behind Housing First is simple: provide unhoused people steady residences initially without demanding they settle problems like dependency or psychiatric trauma beforehand. Once folks possess a protected certain spot to reside, they're more prone to triumph in tackling these alternative hurdles. This framework has shown success in lowering displacement in towns across the U.S., and Los Angeles is steadily increasing its adoption of this method. Still executing these remedies arrives with substantial obstacles. Financing stays a primary barrier, as constructing low-cost residences in a town with peaking property costs is immensely costly. The town's finances are already pulled tight, and extra assets are required to expand these programs. Furthermore, governmental opposition in certain districts hampers the creation of fresh housing or psychiatric centers. Regardless of these trials, the Housing First framework appears hopeful, and if extra assets are devoted to it, it might provide a durable fix for many of those inhabiting Skid Row. Charitable groups also perform a vital part in offering instant relief. Societies like the Los Angeles Mission and the Downtown Women's Center are providing basic aid, including food clinic care and passing shelter. Many of these groups also offer durable healing tracks, assisting people to rejoin the public and secure steady labor. While these aids are essential, they frequently function under meager financing and toil to satisfy the rising necessity. Despite the constructive moves made, there is yet a lengthy path ahead. The magnitude of the issue is vast, and fixing the displacement emergency necessitates synchronized work across state bureaus, charities, firms, and regional neighborhoods. Only via continued partnership can we anticipate making significant advancement regarding the homeless in America. The prospect for Skid Row: optimism amidst the trials. Peering forward, the destiny of Skid Row stays unclear. Though there have been advancements, particularly with the launch of Housing First and alternative assist actions, the issue is nowhere near settled. The unhoused community in Los Angeles persists in growing and lacking substantial capital, and more synchronized effort, the condition will merely grow grimmer. One of the most urgent hurdles is the supply of cheap residences. Even though attempts are being practiced to construct more low-salary housing, the requirement greatly outstrips the stock. Lease costs in Los Angeles are soaring, making it almost unattainable for those currently at hazard of displacement to remain sheltered. The price of survival in the town is simply too steep, especially for poor inhabitants and elders residing on static payouts. With meager, cheap choices, many folks are descending further into the loop of displacement. Furthermore, the town's communal safety web stays insufficient. While the Skid Row Action Plan and Housing First are constructive strides, they only tackle a portion of the issue. Psychiatric aids and dependency therapy tracks stay poorly financed and understaffed, leaving many persons lacking the assist they necessitate. Until these fundamental matters are tackled, the loop of displacement will persist. The destiny of Skid Row, and by extension the destiny of those homeless in America, hinges on whether towns like Los Angeles can surge to encounter this trial. Fixing displacement isn't merely about offering refuge. It's about building a society that prizes human honor and offers the essential assets to assist folks reconstruct their existences. The optimism is that with persistent focus on programs like Housing First, broadening psychiatric aids, and offering more cheap housing, we can turn the trend of displacement not only in Skid Row, but across the nation. Individual Viewpoint. Journeying throughout the country, I've witnessed the expanding gap between riches and indigence, but Skid Row's emergency strikes deepest. In this section of Los Angeles, imbalance is exposed canopies, border roads where ambitions formerly flourished. I encountered Maria, a 67-year-old retired educator currently residing in a plastic hut after clinical arrears seized her residence. Her narrative, like innumerable others, discloses a reality. Displacement isn't merely a shelter matter. It's an institutional breakdown stoked by surging leases, weakened safety webs, and disregarded psychiatric care. This emergency necessitates more than pity. It compels us to view individuals like Maria as people, not figures. Our fixation with gain has obscured us to the fragile, permitting them to slip through gaps expanded by generations of legislative apathy. From the 1980s, reductions to social housing and psychiatric grants, down 70% and 25% separately, have planted Skid Rows everywhere. We cannot overlook this any further. Transformation commences with prioritizing honor over money. We require a civilization that pours into cheap housing, psychiatric aid, and dependency healing to elevate the most fragile. You can serve at Los Angeles Mission Support Housing First Strategies, or reach town authorities to insist on more capital. If we neglect to respond, how many extra Mariahs will we desert to the pavement? The moment for transformation is today, and it starts with us, the Homeless in America allies. Conclusion. The matter of displacement in Skid Row is not a solitary one. It represents a portion of a far greater emergency that is affecting metros throughout the United States. As we've observed, the origins are intricate and the remedies are not easy. Though advancement is being achieved, much more must be completed to tackle the fundamental sources of displacement and offer enduring fixes. Skid Row is a location that epitomizes the inequality and hurdles of homeless in America, and it functions as a prompt that we should all be components of the fix. The inquiry is, will we ascend to the trial, or will we persist in letting individuals drop through the gaps? Only duration will reveal, but for now, the unhoused in the nation, and especially in Skid Row, require our focus and effort more than ever.